This week's foreign challenge is to win drinking games, and for some time I wanted to figure out exactly how that game works and if there's some way you can drink faster. So in this video I'm gonna measure the exact timings in the game and figure out if that affects how fast you're able to drink. As you may know, drinking contests are found all over the game. Some may be tied to specific story points, but the rules are basically the same. Press a button within a time window to drink until there's no more mead. You're gonna tilt during the game, more frequently the more drunk you are, and you have to tilt the stick the other way. The opponent also drinks and you have to finish before them to win and receive the prize. Across the many occurrences of the games, there's basically two ways they can vary. One is the amount of horns you have to drink, usually somewhere between 3 and 7, and those are the ones you see on the side of your screen during the game, keeping track of how close you are to finishing. The other factor is the size of these horns, and that is how many button presses or gulps it takes to empty a horn. Most, if not all, horns take either 10 or 20 presses to empty. So to calculate how long a game takes to finish, you take the horn number times horn size, and that's the number of well-timed gulps you have to make to finish perfectly. So the primary strategy is of course to press the right buttons at the right time. But let's measure the components of this game and check what's fixed and if there's more to it actually. And the example I'm using here is the drinking contest available in the festival in Ravensthorpe. I'll be measuring how long it takes to drink a horn and how many button presses it takes. As you can see, this contest has 3 horns, and as it turns out, they take 20 button presses to get through each. Note that this is a perfect playthrough and I don't do any misses or mistakes. I think there's a relation between the number of horns and their size, and I think that the contest with a few horns like this one usually have the horns with 20 button presses. But I'm not completely sure. I've been measuring the starting time as the point where the right ring appears and the end point as the point when the horn on the right side starts getting white. Not measuring the time in between horns. And as you see, the 3 horns take the same time. I'm pretty sure that the difference with the first horn comes down to measurement error, because it's just 2 frames of difference.
You are quite the guzzler.
But now let's try to measure each individual button press, because that one definitely speeds up through the horn. The example used will be the drinking contest in Chester that has 4 horns each taking 10 gulps. And here I'm measuring from the appearance of the white ring to the appearance of the next white ring. And as you see, the earlier swallows have more time than the later ones, but this effect seems to have almost gone in the last half. For one of the horns I try to press early in the window, when the white ring has just entered the beer colored circle. And for the other I'll try to press late in the window when the ring is very close to the button in the center. Note that we are drinking from a cup in this contest and not an actual horn, even though it's still using horn as a symbol for keeping track of how far we are. But the conclusion is that all the horns take the same amount of time, so it doesn't seem like the timing affects the speed. The third horn, where I pressed late, seemed a bit less consistent than the others. But the total time is basically the same, so I think it's down to imperfect capture. For good measurement's sake, let's do the same thing with the big horn, but this time I'll show the rounds side by side just to illustrate how equivalent they are. So the numbers show that drinking goes faster over time, at least up until a certain point where you reach the maximum drinking speed. If you don't press at the right time, you lose the speed and start over accelerating, besides a forced waiting period. If you don't press at all, it's just gonna keep circling, but your cup is not gonna get empty that way. So in conclusion, I'd say there's no real strategy to it. Just press the right buttons at the right times, as the game tells you to. One thing I don't know is what determines the speed of the opponent's drinking. And if you're aware of any details I've missed, please let me know. Otherwise, enjoy your mead